Hi and welcome to the demonstration of the YouDo app. To get started, depending on your device, if it's either Android or Apple, you'll want to go to the relevant store, being either the Play Store or the App Store, as if you see the screen now, and download the app from there. And then this will be the first screen you're presented with. Endpoint URL. When you've signed up, we'll have provided this to you in an email. If you don't have this, please get in touch and we'll help sort that out. Next is your email. So what I'll do is I'll sign in here. And once I click login, this is the screen I'll be presented with. This is your main screen and what we call YouDo. So this is all of the tasks which have been assigned to yourself, either by yourself or by other members of the team or the business. So as you can see here, what we have is 3 tiles. The tiles have different colours based on what they are. So if they're green, as you can see here, they're tasks, or if they're blue, they're meetings. What I have in the top right hand corner is the sync button. In the bottom left hand corner you have the YouDo, which is the screen we're on at the moment. You have the plus symbol here, which we'll come back to in a minute, which is when you actually add tasks to do. And then the other option is they do. When you click on they do, what you have here is a list of all of the tasks within the business or within your company. So what you can do is you can actually see who's working on what and their progress, and any contacts that have and any comments that have been assigned. So what I'll do is I'll go back to YouDo. So as you see here, I've got 3 tiles presently at the moment. As you can see, this top one is the demonstration video that we're working on. So what you have the option to do is you've got the title, which is where the YouDo demonstration video, the percentage bar, so how far along I actually am within this task. So I'll show you that in a second. Who's actually given me that task, so this is from my colleague, and who it's been sent to, so myself, my other colleague, and himself for his note. And as you can see here where it says, Kieran, can you schedule? This is a comment that he's actually made. So what I'll do is I'll actually go into this now. So this is the current, what we call YouDo. So when it's due by, who the person is for the job, a short summary or title, description if you do want to put one in there, and then sort of estimated days and hours of how long it would take. And as I mentioned previously, I did have the option to put in sort of the status, so is it open, is it 25%, 50%, 75%, or have I actually completed? And then also the option to add attachments, so I can add an image, a voice note, or a checklist. Checklist, for example, if you're going to a meeting or an initial client meeting and you have questions that you ask as a standard, you can do that. Or if somebody's doing the same task every week, then you can also assign a checklist. And then you can see here, these are the uploaded images, and then any voice notes below. You also have other options here, for example meetings, but as you can see I can't obviously change them at the moment because this has been created. So what I'll do is I'll come back to that in a second. You also have the option here to add comments. So what it does is it shows you when the record was created, and then any comments. So my colleague here said, Kieran, could I schedule? And what I can do is actually respond like a chat, like this, and it will respond giving a date and timestamp. It's the same in the YouDo, so I see the same information just for my colleagues instead of myself. And then here in the bottom you have the plus option. So as I was showing you before, this is to do. So as you can see the fields here which are captured, as I mentioned before. You also have the option for meeting. So as you can see, each one is slightly different because obviously a meeting you would capture different information. So as you can see here, we can select who's been actually invited to the meeting. This doesn't have to just be staff, this can actually also be external. As you can see also in the top right hand corner, there's the option to invite. When you click on the invite option, you can see that this can be done either by a contact, or via your phones, or via an email. So you can also put a summary in, when the meeting date is, and then in the start time for the meeting, and then its location. And same again, images and voice notes. Sales lead, so you can actually capture sales leads through here. I'll not talk through each of the fields, I'll just let you view these yourself. You then also have the option to actually put in a purchase order. So in all businesses, there's staff actually carry out purchase orders. So what this lets them do is actually put in the items to go onto the purchase order. And what it will do is it will actually send that to the relevant department, for example accounts or acquisition, depending on how your business works, and it comes into here, and then it can either be approved or declined. But obviously that wouldn't be for the staff member to do, that would be for the relevant department. And then the last one is your help desk. So as you can see here, similar fields but very minimal, so only what's required. So start date, when it's due, who it's been allocated to, a quick summary of the ticket, and then a description. And what this will do is this will actually come back into the system, the back end, which I'll show you later in the video. And then how many hours did this ticket require. The same again, you can also add attachments on the bottom. So as you can see, very easy, very straightforward to do. As you can see, you do also have the option here to filter out as well, so you don't have to scroll through. So I can't filter out by staff member. I can also filter out by the type. So is it a meeting, is it a sales lead? So for example, if it's a meeting. So as you can see, there's only 2 meetings in here at the moment. And then the due date, so I can actually filter by the due date as well. There's also some more options here in the top left. For example, you can just choose quicker filters, so due today. I'm not talking through all of them, I'll just let you see them, but you can actually see obviously the filters here on the left hand side, rather than you having to do it that way as well, if you prefer that. So as you can see, all very easy, very straightforward to use. Not much, nothing to do from your side. One thing I forgot to mention is there's actually the option here to schedule. So if you see this here on the screen on the moment, if you click on the blue schedule option, you can actually see here there's the option to schedule the tasks which are assigned to you, but you haven't actually given a date for when you want to complete. So somebody might ask you for the 17th, but you might not actually be ready until, for example, 9th of July. All you can do is you change that and click done. And as you can see here now on the screen, it's actually been scheduled in for the 9th of the 7th. There is also this option here where you can actually swipe on the tiles. For example, you can send comments like this, or you can actually mark it as complete. And as you can see here, it's actually been marked as complete, or I can do this. So for example, if I want to send comments, I can do this as well. So as you can see, very straightforward, very easy to use. What we're going to do is we'll look to move over to the computer, and we'll show the desktop, well the web browser on for YouDo. Most of the time you wouldn't use that, to be quite honest, because everything is primarily app based. It's just to give you an overview of what it would look like. What you'll need to do is go over to the desktop computer. As I was mentioning previously, the YouDo is primarily app based and phone based, so it's very unlikely that you would need to use the desktop version, but the option is there. So what you do is to log in, you want to log in with the details provided to you in an email. This is the screen you'll see once you log in. In this screen you have a weekly review, for example week 23 to week 2021 from the 7th of June till the 13th. But I then do have the option to actually filter out the YouDos via the day, as you can see I'm doing now. On the right hand side, what I have here is tasks which are assigned to me but are actually unscheduled. So as you can see here, once I click here schedule, I can actually put a date in for when that will be complete, and then it will appear on the left hand side where I was showing you before. You do also have the option to actually drag and drop the tiles. So if you go to the top left here where I've clicked on my unscheduled, as you can see here, you can literally pick up the tiles and drop them. And you can see it changes the date to the day's date, which will be Thursday. As you can see, very easy and very nice feature to have. On the top right hand corner you have colour codes. So for example, complete, high priority, medium priority. But then you also have the option on the squares here to filter out by unscheduled, not yet allocated, created by me, what's important, or due soon, and then any other filters. So very similar to what you saw in the app. And then finally what you do is the option in the top right corner to actually add a YouDo. So as you can see here, the fields are very similar to what you saw in the app. There is no real difference in them at all. But you do have the option to add a YouDo from the computer if that's what you require. Like I said, primarily YouDo wouldn't really be used on the computer side, it is primarily app based, but if you do want to do it, the option is there. That's all for the YouDo. Thanks for listening. If you do have any questions, please get in touch.